All right, here we are. It is Truth Day, and I wanted to do this on Results with Angel because I want to shift this energy over to my consulting page because this is my truth. Now, in truth, I attach truth to wealth, and not always do we understand. Sometimes we can be financially wealthy, but not wealthy in our truth. And so this is being wealthy in your truth. I have worked with a lot of clients that have had all the financial abundance, but were not happy in their life and in their truth, maybe doing things to create wealth that were not aligned with their truth. I have worked with clients that have been very wealthy in their truth, but have been blocked in their finances because of a block in their feeling of worthiness. So I wanted to make this about truth and about really getting to the core of your truth, really understanding why you believe the things that you do, right? So like I said in a video the other day, a lot of us believed in Christopher Columbus. We are taught stuff every day that is not true. And then we're afraid to challenge it because by challenging it, it affects our relationships with those around us that we love. So we become silenced in our truth. Now, another thing that I'm learning about truth is, your truth is your voice, your expression of your reality, that energies, but also learning to listen to what your truth really is, learning to really understand you and what makes you so unique and so special. Okay, so when we are children, we are born perfect with no fears whatsoever. There is no fears in this beautiful little being. But whatever energies that our parents had when they were carrying us were infused in this little tiny being. So there are some patterns that we are given by our parents when we are carried by them. Okay, and this is hard, for me to even talk about because I never really understood this until this past year, and really understanding and getting to know my own truth. So in this, I have learned that we become a lot of little habits and little ways that we happen within that container of when our mothers carried us in their womb. Now, when we are born, we come into this world and we have this certain desire. Like some kids are really artistic and they are really drawing. Some kids are really liking to figure out and they like puzzles. And that's kind of a start of really getting to know your truth. And as you get to know that truth, and if you were able to stay within that truth growing up, you probably are very authentic in your life. A lot of these millennials are coming through and they're very centered in their truth. They're very aligned in their energies. They're looking for making sure that what they're doing is aligned with their being, aligned with who they are. And that's very hard for the older generation because the older generations want them to do what they're told and to listen and to follow directions and to be the way that they desire them to be. But these millennials are really in touch with their sense of being, and they're more collaborative. Like the bees are they're very collaborative in their energies. So learning to understand your truth and learning to challenge what is real. Me being raised in a Christian environment, really connecting with Jesus as I have. In churches, I've been told that, oh, you don't ever want to look at this. That's a sin. That's wrong, right? And so it feared. So I was afraid to do certain things out of fear, right? So anytime things are led by fear, then if it's not fear of like, hey, jumping off of a cliff and you're going to fall, it's fear of, if I do this, I'm not going to be loved and I'm not going to be accepted, right? So then we start making these rules for ourselves, and we block ourselves from really being authentic and truthful about who we are, right? So now that I've challenged this stuff. You know, I've studied Buddha, I've studied other things, and to me, I have a very intimate connection to Jesus. He is like my, you know, I feel him very close to me. I have visions of, you know, just really having that connection with that. And that blocks off some people because, you know, a lot of times religions have used fear to, you know, and then they've tainted that. They've tainted that Christ-like energy that there. Not all churches, but some have. So really getting to know what your truth is and being okay to challenge it, and being okay that maybe people might not like you if you're being honest about who you are. It's important to be real, because as we become more truthful in who we are and there's a safe environment, we start to get and understand our worthiness. Sometimes we don't feel worthy because we know we're blocked. We know that we're unable to say things, and then we're using our worth by acceptance instead of truth. So in my personal coaching, I work a lot in all of these areas. I do this year I'm going to do a container just on truth, just on really getting to your truth, getting to that truth within yourself, getting to the challenges, challenge what you thought was true, and do some refining. Why is that true? What is really true? Dig deep within your soul and get to know yourself and know your truth without being afraid of what people are going to think about you for being truthful on who you are. All right. That's, you know, it's a Friday for me is something I work with my truth. Now, I've worked with truth in this energy for a long time, and then I found there is an energy with truth that goes kind of like this. It V's off. And this is going to be hard for a lot of people to understand, because once you get your truth open, and that's really listening to your purpose, and your purpose to me comes from the divine. When you can get that open and you can live in your truth, this opens. And when this opens, you're listening to your truth, and you're aligning that to your lower areas here, that it comes out like this. When you align it to that lower areas, most people's energies kind of go like this, right? And when you can open this up, you become really aligned with all of your energies, right? A lot of times people work from the ground, very factual, very matter of fact, very, this is real, and I base everything off of that. Most of those people work for other people because they work for the visionaries, and the visionaries usually come from inspiration, which is in spirit. Okay, so opening up this truth is really digging deep. And when you start digging deep, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper back into all of the injuries that happened to you from a child on, and you can open that up, open those areas up, and heal those parts of yourself to really get into your truth. Now, a lot of times when I work with clients, they're telling me like, oh, I don't have any injuries there, but you know, I see it, you know, I actually see the injury, but it's okay. I accept wherever anyone is, and I honor where they are. So I'm not going to argue with someone, but it to me, I see it. I see where that block is. And that's one of my gifts that I've come into, you know, exiting out of religion and getting into really allowing myself to accept the spiritual gifts that God has given me and move forward in that area. And it's really understanding those energies. So really getting to know your truth, getting to know who you are, getting to know what you're here for. And even if it's just healing those areas that you can love unconditionally, that is the goal, is to learn how to love unconditionally. Because when you can love unconditionally, it doesn't mean that you need to accept something or someone that is hurting and wants to hurt you because they're hurting. You can see, they're hurting. I can love them, but I don't want to put myself in a position to be hurt by them, because hurting people usually hurt people. They don't mean to hurt you purposely, and sometimes people intentionally want to hurt you because you are bringing out something in them that is so injured that the only way that they could feel okay is to hurt other people. But when you can see that from a healed perspective, you're not taking it personally, you're not being offended by it, you're being, okay, I understand where that is, and that is truth. Okay, so to me, opening up truth is really listening to the divine and really going in there like the parent to the child, and loving that injured child, and working with that injured child, and healing those areas within that child, and going all the way back to before you were born, before you were conceived, and working with that energy till that is healed within you. Because once it's healed within you, you can love unconditionally. But it's very difficult. This gets shut off when you can't be truthful about who you are and what you're feeling. And sometimes you're feeling things that are coming up from areas that are injured, that you really don't know are injured. And I know this is super deep, and that's why I put it on my Results with Angel page. I'll probably move this over to my Creating a Life That You Love, Designing a Life That You Love page. And I might put it on my regular page, but I felt that it was so deep, and I really wanted to be authentic in this, in sharing truth. And your truth energy is right here, and you can usually tell if it is open or closed by if you feel like you can't say something and you can't be honest. And if you're having something coming in from divine, from inspiration, that you feel like you can't express out here, it closes off and gets clogged here in this energy. So in order to open it, there's different meditations you can use. There's some, conversations that we could have. But really, now wealth, whatever wealth is to you, wherever you feel like wealth is to you. Wealth to some people is having a roof over their head and a car, and that is perfect. If you are wealthy in your being, if you're wealthy in your being and you feel unconditional love, and you are connected to the people around you, and you're wealthy in that area, that's beautiful. If you desire more wealth to make a bigger impact in the world, to bring more healing into the world, that's amazing. If you desire to have more wealth in having more things for yourself, and that is where you are, that's amazing. But being truthful and not being afraid to dream big, and not being afraid to really be like that little child, and finding out who you really are, what is your real purpose in this world, and where can you live that freely without being afraid to be truthful in who you are, And if you start being truthful, and the people around you, it starts to create some energies that are not good, that are not healthy for them, maybe, just shift around, or find out how you can do that in your life slowly, that allows that energy to be more accepted, and then find people that you can work with, that will work with you and help you in that process. But getting to that truth is so freeing and so beautiful, and then you can live your life joyously. To live your life joyously, that's true wealth. To live your life, just happy, that's true wealth. And to get to that place of being you wholly, that's true wealth. So, and then once you're there, you can open it up. We have eyes to see. This world is here for us to explore, to get on planes, to fly, to travel, to touch, to feel, to enjoy, and to love, to get in that place of being like little children on this beautiful earth, and loving it and exploring it to the fullest, to not be afraid to dream, to create that financial wealth as well as wealthy being. So to a wealthy life, to a life of truth, and to a life of amazing well-being, and to TGIF. So thank God it is Friday, Truth Day. I picked this day for payday, but it aligned with truth for me as well. So have a blessed Friday.